Welcome to Between Two Psychs, a podcast where two psychologists and board-approved supervisors deep dive into many of the questions and challenges that provisional psychologists and early career therapists face in everyday practice, during training, throughout the internship, and beyond as they progress into working more independently. Your hosts, Isabelle Tombleson and Claire Trevitt, talk about a range of topics, specifically relating to psychologists and therapists who are just starting out. Hi again, Claire here with another solo episode. I just wanted to let you know that there might be a few changes to the podcast in the upcoming months. You probably already noticed that I've done a solo episode already, and Isabelle and I are also going to be interviewing some guests periodically. And we have found it quite difficult with our schedules to find time that we were both available for recordings. So you may notice that sometimes that we appear individually, or sometimes we appear with a guest and not necessarily together. We are going to be doing some episodes together. It's very much a joint project. It's just that at the moment our schedules haven't aligned as we had hoped. And so we wanted to find another way to continue the podcast and continue bringing you the weekly episodes when we weren't able to do them both together. So I just wanted to let you know that. So this is an open letter to all therapists who are juggling multiple commitments. And at some point or other, this is going to apply to all of us. There will be times when we may be incredibly busy, both at work and outside of work. And we really might feel as though we've got so many different balls up in the air trying to manage all the things. And I just wanted to speak to that today. So maybe you're in private practice and you've just set up a practice and you're getting things ready. You've got in your practice management software, you're getting your marketing ready. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that isn't just about seeing clients. So you may be in that position where you've got something happening work-wise that is consuming some of your energy. Maybe you are engaging in some other projects. You might be delivering some training, or you may have a conference coming up. And all of these things can be very exciting, but they can also take our time and take our energy. Maybe you're parenting young children, teenagers, adult children, or you may have elderly parents that you need to take after. You may have somebody in your family or somebody close to you that's unwell, or you may be supporting somebody with a disability. And some of this may be temporary, or some of this may be ongoing, particularly if you have family members that need taking care of, or you have young children. You have many years ahead of juggling the family commitments as well as work. So this can look very different for different people, but the overwhelm and the busyness can feel quite similar, even if the circumstances are quite different. And in this position for working as therapists, we are constantly holding space for clients and space for other people, and that can sometimes leave very little space for ourselves. And so that can play out in a number of different ways. You might find yourself lying awake at night, worrying about all the things that you've got on. You might be thinking about client sessions outside of work. You might be thinking about all of the different emails that you have got to respond to and haven't got round to yet. Or just how your body is really just asking or begging at times just for some rest. But when there are other things calling for our attention, sometimes this can feel like either a real luxury, or it can actually feel out of reach sometimes. So, yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that it can be hard. It can be very, very hard when we've got a number of things going on. And there can also be this very quiet internal pressure that we know all of the tools, we teach clients boundaries, we try and model compassion, we try and model self-care, we talk about regulation, self-awareness, taking adequate rest, balance in life, and then we wonder why we can't consistently apply these things to our own lives, because that's hopefully what we're wanting for our clients. So sometimes there's this internal voice that whispers to us that we should know better or we should be doing better. And that, of course, compounds and adds more pressure. You know, we know how to name our feelings. We know how to process our reactions. We know how to communicate gently and with intention. So we wonder why we snapped at our partner or why we didn't pause and just take a breath before responding to something. And why we sit there sometimes scrolling through our phone, sort of numbing out gently when we really feel that there could be other ways that we could be spending our time. But again, I want to pause here because this doesn't mean that you're failing in any way. It just means that you're struggling and that you're human. So knowing the path is not the same as being able to walk it at all times, especially when you're tired, overwhelmed, and stretched beyond capacity. Even with all your knowledge and experience, you're still impacted by the same limitations of time and energy and emotional bandwidth as anybody else. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not falling behind. You're not getting it all wrong. It just means you're carrying a lot. Because I think sometimes there's this myth that we internalize as therapists that we should have it all together, that if we really knew our stuff, that we would always be regulated, we'd always be calm, we'd always set perfect boundaries, we'd always get 8 hours of sleep, we'd always speak with compassion, etc., etc. But that's not what being a good therapist is. That's just perfectionism in disguise. And it's just not possible, particularly when you've got so much going on. So being a good therapist actually means being quite real. It means recognizing when we've got things going on and just showing up with humility, even when we're tired, even when we don't really feel up to it. And it also means making space for your own messiness, your own growth edges, and your own needs. And acknowledging that you can't do it all. And that's okay. You are allowed to know the theory and still struggle in practice. You are allowed to support others and still need support yourself. You're allowed to teach regulation, but find yourself dysregulated at times. None of this disqualifies you from being a therapist and from being caring and skilled and reliable in what you do. It just makes you human. So I hope that this allows you to offer a little bit of compassion for the parts of you that are tired, exhausted even, and to give yourself permission not to do it all. And to remind yourself that your worth is just not defined by your productivity or your perfection or how well you apply every therapeutic skill to your own life. If you're showing up and you're doing your best, sometimes that's enough. But I want you to know that you're not alone and that this is something that all of us have to grapple with. So thank you for listening, and please share this with anyone who needs to hear it. Thank you for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating. It really helps others find the show. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Between Two Psychs for more updates and resources. For more information and to explore everything we offer, head over to our website, betweentwopsychs.com.au. We appreciate your support and we'll see you next time.